Hello and welcome to the Writecome.com podcast, where we help you to make money from your words. Each episode will be sharing tips, tricks, and strategies you can use to make more money from your writing, publishing, and marketing to your fans and audience. Let's get started with your host, Barry J. McDonald.
Hi, this is Barry here, and you are very welcome to today's podcast episode from Writecome.com. And today's podcast episode is entitled, Will This Work For Me? Now, I was asked that question the other day. Somebody had reached out to me on Quora and they were asking me about a particular genre in fiction writing that they were thinking of going into, and they were asking me, will this work for me? Now, I see a lot of people asking that particular type of question on sites like Quora, where you might have somebody saying, well, I need to make $10,000 in the next 6 months. Is this a guaranteed way to make money? Or is this a guaranteed way that I can get thousands of subscribers onto my Instagram channel? And they're all looking for guaranteed results in that, they want something that they can simply just slot themselves into, and there's a clear path from A to B, and then they are going to get that end result. There's no risk at all. There's no chance they're going to go down any cul-de-sacs, and every decision they make is the right decision. And unfortunately, for those types of people who are looking for guaranteed results, unfortunately, there is no guaranteed results. If I might, at some stage, if this podcast was ever making $10,000 a month, and I said to you, well, this podcast is guaranteed to make you $10,000 a month, here you go, and then I handed it over to you. Now, depending on how you treat the podcast, whether you start making any episodes, or whether you just sit on your butt and do nothing, or maybe you record podcast episodes, it could be better than mine, it could be less than mine, your results will always vary. It's almost like the small print you see sometimes on particular sales letters and products. Your results will differ from everybody else's, in that you are the unknown ingredient that is going to go into whatever it is you are looking to make, whatever recipe you are looking to use today, whether it's to get 10,000 subscribers on your Instagram account or make $10,000 a month. You are the unknown ingredient. And if I was talking to that person who was asking me whether they should go down a particular type of, genre in their fiction writing, if you are faced with a kind of 50-50 decision, should I become a romance writer, should I become a thriller writer, I would ask that person, which way are they more inclined to sway? Are they more inclined to go down a romance route, or are they more inclined to go down a thriller or detective route? And, you will get a lot of people who will just stand at that, that crossroads, and they'll say to themselves, well, should I go that way? And if I go that way and it's a mistake, I'm going to regret this, and maybe I should go that way, but then if I go that way, is it going to be a mistake? And unfortunately, a lot of people are standing at that crossroads and are just frozen in place for fear of making the wrong decision and the wrong mistake. Unfortunately, you're never going to know whether your decision is right or wrong until you actually go down that path. If that person said to me, well, should I do romance, I would say, if you want to do romance, go ahead and do romance. But when you go down that path for a while, you may find that maybe writing romance books isn't for you. Maybe you have no love for it. Maybe you're not getting any traction, and maybe it just seems like the most boring thing ever you could write. But then I would say, well, at least you've tried that out. At least you've had your chance, you've taken a taste, you've seen what it's like, and then why not just drop it as it is and then go over and then become a thriller writer or write detective books or whatever, and then go down that route. But unfortunately, a lot of people, when it comes to making decisions like that, they feel, well, because I made a mistake, that was a complete waste of time, and if I had went the other route, I would be a lot more successful, or I would have more followers, I would have this, I would have that. And they think that because they have gone down a particular route and it's been a waste of time, that it has been just a complete waste of everything, that they didn't learn anything from it. If I did this podcast for the next 2 years or whatever, and I decided at the end of it, it didn't work out for me, I tried, but podcasting isn't for me, I can still come away from this podcast with having experience of showing up regularly on episodes. I have the experience of talking into a microphone. I can probably carry this experience over into maybe doing Facebook Lives, or maybe it might give me more confidence when I do my YouTube videos or whatever. So that isn't wasted. Whatever you learn on whatever route you're going down, if you find out maybe that it's the wrong route, you're not back at zero. You have moved on from a different spot. The different person, or the person that is going to go into option B, is going to be a completely different type of person. You're going to have more experience. You're going to have learned things. You're going to have learned skills that you can use in that other route. If we look at someone who is well known as Steve Steve Jobs. You know, when Steve Jobs was going through university, he dropped out a lot of classes, but he got into a calligraphy class, and he said he loved doing calligraphy. Again, I don't know where he thought that was actually going to take him in the future. And for a lot of people on the outside, they will probably say, well, why would you study calligraphy? Because it's totally useless. What skill are you going to learn from that? How can you use it in other parts of your life? And it was only later on when he actually got into creating the Apple Mac and they come up with the idea of fonts and designing fonts that his knowledge of calligraphy went into that. And because of that, then they had probably more fonts than maybe the PC had at the time or whatever. But it did make a big difference in how the Apple Mac looked because of the fonts that it had. And again, that came down to skills that Steve Jobs learned when he was doing his calligraphy classes, even though, you know, it might have seemed at the time it wasn't going to go anywhere, but it was a skill, it was something that he had, and he could carry it over into another part of his business. So if you are at the moment standing on, you know, some kind of crossroads, should you go down this way, should you go down that way, just pick one. And the only way you're going to find out if one is better than the other one is actually go ahead and try both of those. But don't think if you have a failure, you know, if you do go down a particular genre and you're writing fiction for a while on that topic and you find out it's useless or that you're not getting the results you were expecting, you know, you have learned something, and you can take that experience and that knowledge and the skills that you have learned in that, you can transfer it over into another part of your business. So as always, you know, if you would like to reach out to me, you can certainly ask me questions on Quora, or you can certainly send an email to barryjmcdonald@gmail.com. But unfortunately, there is no guaranteed results. Sometimes you're going to have your failures, you're going to have to try things out, you're going to have to fail, but don't take them as a failure. You can always take something that you've learned from that failure and you can transfer it into another part of your business. And as always, if you'd like to maybe try out fiction writing, if that's something that you'd like to see if you could do, if you want to head over to Writecom, that's WRITECOME.com. You'll find a lot of great self-publishing courses and content over there. And as always, if you enjoyed this podcast episode, if you would like to subscribe, I will certainly send the next couple of episodes on to you. Or if you'd like to maybe hit some of the social media buttons nearby and share this with your audience, I would really, really appreciate it. And as always, thanks for sharing your time again today. Take care and have a great day. Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us today. If you'd like more from the Writecom.com podcast, be sure to subscribe now for more tips, tricks, and ideas you can use to make more money from your words. See you in the next episode.